Balake. Where is Balake at?
My name's Blake.
Do you want to go to war, Balake? I'm for real. Aaron.
Aaron is right here, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome back for some more SPTV, where every day is a great day not to be in a cult, which is apparently exactly how the German government feels, particularly when it comes to Scientology. Is Scientology banned in Germany? I get this question all the time. Actually, it doesn't come up as a question. It comes up as a statement. In my comment section, people are constantly saying Scientology is banned in Germany, but it's not actually. But it is worth a conversation, and because people say that so often, it's probably worth explaining what exactly is the status of Scientology in Germany, because it is pretty fascinating. And the actual inspiration for going live today with this video is an email I got this morning from an American living in Germany who was just hired at one of the biggest universities, I'm being vague so as not to, direct attention towards any particular individual. This person was just hired at one of the biggest universities in Germany, and she was shocked to find in her employment contract an entire clause about Scientology. And I'm going to read you that clause. The clause actually bans people who work for public institutions from involving themselves in any way with Scientology, even studying Scientology. And it's pretty incredible. I'm going to share it with you. I'm not going to screen share it just in case I haven't blocked out all of the identifying information. I'm just going to read a translated portion of it to you. But I want to start by saying there are actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 full-blown Scientology organizations in Germany. The only country in Europe that I think has more organizations is Italy. So in Germany, there is a Scientology organization in Munich, in Hamburg, in Berlin, Dusseldorf, Frankfurt, Hanover, and Stuttgart. And that's a lot. That's a lot of orgs. I actually, in a video I did a day or two ago, I listed off the orgs that I could remember in Germany, and I only came up with 5. So I was off by quite a bit. And in Italy, let me see, on my Google search, Google's AI did not give me a good answer for how many organizations there are in Italy. So I checked ChatGPT 4.0, and it did a much better job. So it says here there's actually 11 Scientology organizations in Italy. And most of these I do remember. So Rome, Milan, Torino, Florence, Padova, Brescia. It says Cagliari, but that's a mission that doesn't count. There's another mission, Novara. I don't remember Novara. Pordenone. I remember Pordenone, and Verona. So it might be closer to 9 organizations. That's a lot more organizations than I would have guessed. I did not remember 9 Scientology organizations in Italy. So let me read for you a portion of this email. It says, my name is blank. I've never been in Scientology. I'm writing to you because something interesting happened that you might also find interesting, and I've never heard about it on your channel before. I'm an American living in Germany, and I was recently hired in I will not say which department it is, of a university. My contract had an entire paragraph saying that while I'm working for them, I am forbidden from doing Scientology on penalty of instant termination. I'm worried about sharing the clause verbatim because Germany has very strict privacy laws, and I would like to keep my job. So here's the loose translation of the section of the contract. And it says, quote, the employee agrees that during the entire time of their employment, they will not work with any of L. Ron Hubbard's technologies or any so-called technologies relating to Scientology. The employee agrees to not teach any technology related to Scientology and will reject it completely. The employee agrees not to attend any classes, courses, or seminars using those technologies, nor invite others to them. Should the employee violate this clause, it will be cause for immediate termination. They asked me, have you ever heard of this before? I'm really wondering if they had a problem in the past. They have a medical school that trains. Oh, I see what this sentence means. So now on this channel, in my videos, I have mentioned that you're not allowed to work for the German government if you are a Scientologist or have any connections to Scientology. It didn't quite occur to me that that would extend to publicly funded organizations like universities. So that is the first that I'm hearing of it. Germany, quite understandably, has a lot of concerns about the subversive, anti-democratic nature of Scientology. And so what I did, I put something else into Chat GPT as well. And I said, what would Chat GPT, what would they say to the question, is Scientology banned in Germany? So here's what it says. Scientology is not banned in Germany, but it faces significant scrutiny and restrictions. German authorities regard Scientology with suspicion, and it is often monitored by the Office for the Protection of the Constitution, which is Germany's domestic intelligence agency. So to me, that sounds like our FBI. Some key points about Scientology status in Germany include public perception. Scientology is often viewed as controversial and potentially harmful organization. Many Germans see it as a commercial enterprise with political ambitions rather than a genuine religious community. Yeah, and it's not just Germany. I mean, France has a very similar position with regards to Scientology, and even in the UK, they have repeatedly rejected any efforts by Scientology to gain tax exempt status. It says Scientology's legal status in Germany. Scientology does not have the same legal status as recognized religious organizations in Germany. It's generally considered a commercial activity, and its activities are subject to regulation and oversight. Surveillance. In some regions, Scientology is under surveillance by and I think that's the OPC. The authorities justify this by claiming that Scientology's activities are against the democratic order and may involve unethical practices. Discrimination in legal battles. Scientology has fought numerous legal battles in Germany. Oh, I forgot to put all my stuff on Do Not Disturb. Let's do that right quick. Okay, good. Scientology has fought numerous legal battles in Germany to gain recognition as a religion and to counter what it claims is discrimination against its members. These legal disputes have had mixed outcomes. Public actions. The German government has occasionally taken steps to limit Scientology's influence. For example, in the past, there have been campaigns warning people about the organization, and some public officials have advised against associating with it. While Scientology is not banned in Germany, it operates under strict conditions and is closely monitored by the authorities. It's interesting that even in such a hostile operating environment, there's more Scientology organizations per capita in Germany than in the United States. I mean, guys, I'm originally, my mom got into Scientology in Philadelphia at the Philadelphia org. I don't have all the numbers in front of me right now, but if you look up what is the population of Philadelphia, what is the population of all of Pennsylvania, what is the population of all of New Jersey and Delaware, and then consider that the tiny little Scientology organization in downtown Philly, located at 1315 Race Street, is the only Scientology organization in the 3 states that I just mentioned. Pennsylvania and New Jersey are 2 major high population states in the United States. There is only 1 single Scientology organization. I just threw Delaware in there for the hell of it because I know there's no organization in Delaware, but Delaware doesn't have a very high population. And so then you have Germany, where like they're barely legal, and there's freaking 9 orgs or whatever it was I said in the beginning of the video. Okay, so then now, of course, it's true that Scientology has proven time and time again that it is an organization that has absolutely no regard for the Constitution, for any sense of legal propriety. And one of the best examples of that is Operation Snow White, which was a Scientology operation in the 70s, where they perpetrated the largest ever infiltration of the United States government at all levels. And so I asked ChatGPT, how would ChatGPT describe Operation Snow White? And here's what it says. Operation Snow White was one of the largest infiltrations and espionage operations conducted by the Church of Scientology in the 1970s. It was certainly the largest espionage operation conducted by Scientology, but it was also the largest infiltration ever of the United States government. That's not what ChatGPT says. That's what I'm saying. The aim of the operation was to purge unfavorable records about Scientology and its founder, L. Ron Hubbard, from government agencies and to gather info about government investigations into Scientology. Here are some key points about Operation Snow White. The operation involved placing Scientologists in key positions within various government agencies around the world. That's right, they were even trying to do this to Interpol. These agents were tasked with accessing and removing or copying documents that portrayed Scientology in a negative light. It was a global operation with efforts focused particularly on the US. Targets included the IRS, the Department of Justice, the FBI, among others. Other countries included Canada, the UK, and Germany. The operation came to light in 1977 when the FBI conducted raids on Scientology offices in LA and Washington, D.C. These raids uncovered evidence of the extensive spying activities. Following the raids, 11 high-ranking members of Scientology, including L. Ron Hubbard's own wife, Mary Sue, were indicted and convicted on charges of conspiracy and theft of government property. They were sentenced to prison. Yeah, L. Ron Hubbard's own wife, Mary Sue, went to federal prison for all of this, and she never saw L. Ron Hubbard again. Operation Snow White remains one of the most significant and notorious episodes in the history of Scientology. It led to increased scrutiny and legal battles for Scientology, affecting its reputation and operations for years to come. It is incredible that an organization that conducted such an organized, conspiratorial, criminal invasion of the government just a number of years later was able to gain full religious recognition and tax-exempt status from the IRS. It is amazing. It is also partially explained by the fact that Scientology brought the IRS to the negotiating table through sheer brute force and threats and abusing the legal system. I believe, if I recall correctly, Scientology and Scientologists filed, I believe it was in the vicinity of 2,000 lawsuits. Not against the IRS as an organization, but against individual IRS employees. They managed to overwhelm the IRS with litigation to the point that the IRS felt they actually had no choice but to come to the table and review Scientology's tax-exempt status. You know, most Scientologists think that 1993 was the first time Scientology ever got tax exemption from the IRS. What they don't actually know is that in the very early days of Scientology, it did get tax exemption. And then the IRS revoked it because they investigated and proved that L. Ron Hubbard was personally enriching himself from the funds of Scientology, which is called inurement and is a crime. And due to that, they revoked Scientology's tax exemption. And then after that, even after that, Scientology engaged in this criminal activity. This is just Operation Snow White is just the tip of the iceberg on the criminal activity that actually occurs in Scientology. It's a big tip, but it's still the tip. And so they lose their tax exemption. They engage in this type of criminal activity. This major criminal activity is exposed. They're indicted. People go to prison. And they still manage to get tax exempt status back. It's unbelievable. Did you guys know there's actually a decision from the Supreme Court that is still on the books? It's never been overturned. It's never been reviewed or clarified. That says donations to Scientology are not tax deductible because of the pay-to-play nature of Scientology services. The fact that you pay for a service and receive it is a quid pro quo. It is not just a donation to a nonprofit organization. And the Supreme Court, the U.S. Supreme Court, ruled that donations to Scientology were not tax deductible. When the IRS granted Scientology its tax-exempt status for a second time in 1993, they did that in the face of a contrary ruling from the U.S. Supreme Court. It is my belief that when the day comes that Scientology's tax-exempt status finally gets reviewed and revoked, it'll be for a number of reasons, but I think one of the justifications for doing it will be the fact that there is this decision on the books from the U.S. Supreme Court. But what do I know, guys? I grew up in a cult. I'm just telling you what I think. All right, let's see. Yep, just a short one. I got a whole bunch of videos I want to do today, guys. So stay tuned for much more. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Maybe even hit that notification bell. Oh, we do have some starred comments before I forget. The lovely Barb's been in the back office. Thank you, Barb. I almost forgot. Let's see. Ooh, Lydia von Stretchclaw. Ooh, I will ask my friend's husband to see if his university has told him the same. That would be awesome. It would be in his employment contract if he wants to take a look at it. Diana D. Williams. They are on the list of the Federal Office for the Protection of the Constitution. I know about Scientology. We were warned about it at school. It was educational and very helpful and informative. Whenever I hear the Office for the Protection of the Constitution, OPC, my memory on this isn't perfect, guys, but what comes to mind is RoboCop. Wasn't the company that made RoboCop the OPC? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Am I remembering that correctly? I haven't double checked and I haven't seen RoboCop in a very long time. Rebecca McGuire, isn't anyone in that many orgs in Germany and title? What? Hold on. Okay. Isn't anyone in that many orgs in Germany and title, or are they empty like the USA? Rebecca, I think I understand what you're saying. The German orgs are actually quite small. Yes. It's strange how pretty much all Scientology organizations are somewhat the same size. They range from 3 staff members to 30 staff members, but it's almost impossible to find find an org that has more than 30 staff members. I mean, even the brand new orgs that have been staffed up by, transferring staff from outside orgs just to prop open a new building for the sake of appearance to get as many staff as possible. Even those orgs never break 50 staff. And then once the ribbon gets yanked on those buildings and everyone goes home, they go down to like 20, 25 staff pretty quickly. And then, 15. Yeah. Janet Burns, welcome as a channel member. I guess that's your 4-month anniversary there. Okay. Dr. Julian Bashir. In Dusseldorf, the organization has a celebrity center in an industrial area. It seems to be empty most of the time. Few expensive cars parked there. I have always been confused about the celebrity center, Dusseldorf. I've never heard of a single German celebrity that is taking services at the celebrity center, Dusseldorf. Yeah, I've always scratched my head on that one. Okay, Form 13909. There's a great British documentary from back in the day where some comedian hangs out with a bunch of free zoners and they talk about this a lot. All right. Sovereign Brehon, Until Nothing Remains, a movie about Scientology in Germany in 2010. Anyone see it? Is it English? Very cool. Samuel, the SP chef. Good evening, Aaron in chat. Indeed, in Germany and Switzerland, Scientology does not have a good reputation and is viewed with lots of suspicion. Absolutely. Good to see you, Samuel. Sovereign Brehon. Anyone else see that as a theater limited hangout? Oh, we're still talking about that movie. Okay. Dr. Julian Bashir, any country that doesn't outright ban Scientology is secretly doing business with Scientology. None of this could be permitted without government involvement. Let me think about that for a second. Any country that doesn't outright ban Scientology, but there's almost no country in the world that has an outright ban on Scientology. I mean, of course, China, in mainland China, Scientology is banned, but that's because most religious organizations are banned. Even in Russia, Scientology isn't banned, although there have been some reports to the contrary. As you guys have seen, as you guys have heard, most people seem to think Scientology is banned in Germany, even though it's not. So I don't know. I'm not sure I totally agree with that, Julian, but I understand what you're saying. Zaz81MS. Ursula Caberta from Hamburg was in quite a few TV shows and quite popular with her fight against Scientology. She also led the Task Force Scientology, or I guess the Scientology Task Force. Yeah. Magnus says OCP was the RoboCop company. You see, I knew it. Diana De Williams, 3,600 members, but in Berlin, they own a lot of empty buildings. Oh, I promise you, there's not 3,600 members in Germany. That's probably the number Scientology puts out there. You have to realize no Scientology organization, maybe there's like 1 or 2 exceptions in the whole world. No Scientology organization has more than 200 members around it. None. 0. I mean, I live in Clearwater, Florida. The largest Scientology organization in the world is here. They probably have 1,500 Sea Org staff members. And even here, there's barely over 1,000 Scientologists that live in Clearwater. Okay. Macht mich doch egal. The more staffed ones are usually around Stuttgart. The rest is empty. All righty. And macht mich doch egal. I've got to work on it a little bit. Dusseldorf is near a film city. Yeah, and you would think that Scientology would have some sort of German celebrities that they could trot out, especially if they got a whole ass celebrity center there. The closest they have to a German celebrity is, I guess, an Austrian celebrity. What is the name of that artist? God, I always forget. He's friends with Priscilla Presley. Let me pull it up. Famous Austrian artist, Scientologist. Oh, Gottfried Hellwein. Helnwein. I don't know how to say it, but he's one of the most famous people in Austria, and he's been a Scientologist for a super long time, and he's one of Priscilla Presley's best friends. And it's why some people think Priscilla Presley is still in Scientology, even though my sources tell me she's out. Is because she still publicly associates with Gottfried, and Gottfried is still very much publicly a Scientologist. But if you ask me how that is possible and how that happens or why that happens, the answer is Priscilla Presley does what Priscilla Presley wants. And as long as Priscilla isn't out publicly attacking Scientology, good luck to David Miscavige if he tries to tell her Scientologist friends to disconnect from her. That's my take on it. All right, guys, that is it for now. Stay tuned for much more today. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click wow.